Welcome to the Get Trauma Informed podcast, dedicated to unraveling the complexities of trauma, its pervasive impact, and the journey towards holistic recovery and realignment. If your radiance has ever felt muted, like I and thousands of others, you're in the right place to reignite your inner light. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma Informed podcast. Hi, and we are back for the second part of a new perspective on suicide prevention in our mini series. We talked about phase 1, acknowledging the trauma, phase 2, understanding the connection between trauma and suicide, and phase 3, building emotional resilience. Now, today we're going to talk about phase 4, which is finding purpose through healing. And that is how recovering from trauma helps individuals reconnect with their sense of purpose and life meaning, and the power of purpose in suicide prevention, shifting the focus from the hopelessness to the empowerment. And that is a very, very important, powerful step there. Phase 5, support systems and community. The community connection is hands down second to none. When I was in my darkest moment and it felt like the world or my world was collapsing around me, I had a bright light, which was my youngest daughter, Tatiana. She pulled me out and said, "Mom, you will not die on my watch." And I promise you, I was at the lowest point where I had given up, and I did not feel like I could even go any further. I couldn't even swallow food. I could only swallow liquid at that point in my life. And I tell you, I am so grateful for my faith and my belief in God. And I'm so faithful. I'm so faithful to my purpose now, because I now turned and did that paradigm shift of understanding that when a friend of mine told me, one day you're going to walk into a better light, your days are going to be brighter. And I couldn't see it at that point. So community is so important for people around you to have the strength to help you walk through it. And if you don't have that, reach out to coaching, reach out to programs such as the Oasis Wellness Program, where we have the rebirth of her. We're empowering the rebirth of him. It's empowering to have the community around you. Oftentimes, you're not born into a family that can help you and support you, but we do have community that can do that for you. Let's get back to our outline here. Support systems and community is important so that we can surround ourselves with a strong network, including therapists, coaches, friends, family, right? And one of the things when we're talking about one of the practices is to come out of association with negative or toxic people, places, and things. Sometimes separating ourselves, but not going into isolation, but flipping over to having a healthy community around us. Okay. Trauma recovery support groups and conversations can reduce isolation and foster hope. Hope is amazing when you have that, when you garner it, when you water it, when you embrace it, right? Because it helps you to get over to the other side of trauma recovery. And there's still work to be done. So we're always going to be a work in process or progress, right? Rewiring our narrative, encouraging a mindset shift from victimhood to survivorship. And I put an added caveat to that, to thriving, to becoming a thriver. And that's what we have in our community, a community of thrivers supporting one another. That's peer to peer, because our coaches have not only went through the training to help with trauma or to support those that are going or that are in trauma, but they also have experienced that trauma for themselves and have come on the other side of recovery. That's why our book, Pathway to Trauma Recovery, is so dear to me, because it is actually just the raw truth of how difficult trauma can be, but the hope on the other side of that, right? So rewiring your negative or rewriting your narrative, okay, encourages a mind shift from victimhood to survivorship. Now we're adding a caveat to thrivership or thriverhood, right? The role of personal storytelling in reframing one's life after trauma, aiding in long-term recovery. So what we have over in as a part of trauma recovery is the Ink of Legacy program, and it helps you to write your story. right? And it helps you, as you always encourage journaling, but you can take that journal and turn that into your story. Now, whether you want it published or not, that's not the whole point of it. The point of it is getting that trauma up and out and writing it on those pages, typing it on those pages helps us to get that trauma up and out. So Ink of Legacy program is up and running. And if you're interested, we can help you get that story up and out while we're coaching you through your trauma. Okay. So our call to action is important that we get trauma informed, and that is a preventative tool against suicide. And we also want you to seek help, join recovery communities such as ours, to get trauma-informed community at Oasis Wellness Centers, and sign up for some of the programs. We have a whole program coming up that is no dollar cost to you. It is $25 for your books. And that program is also over on the Oasis Wellness CTRS.com, because we believe in you and we want to provide you with that support that is necessary. A shout out to WJBJ, our sponsor. We are so grateful to be in collaboration with such an amazing, amazing radio station. All righty. We will talk with you soon on the next Trauma Recovery Talk. And in this mini series, the last phase that we're going to spend time on is the phases of trauma recovery. And that's going to be delivered in 2 parts as well. All righty. We'll talk with you soon. Bye for now. It's time to buckle up. No more suffering in silence. Our Power Pack journey to recovery and realignment starts now. Remember, you are collateral damage on someone else's warpath. Trauma is not your fault. Recovery, however, is your responsibility. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma Informed podcast.